Hey guys, what's up? It's Shla coming back to ya with another episode of walks of car rides. Which see, I'm getting all mixed up now. Getting all mixed up now. Car rides with Shla, and yeah, today not really a super good morning. I mean, at first I was very excited because I woke up fairly early, and I actually haven't in a long time. Like, I haven't been able to wake up early. I've been waking up, like, basically right when I have to leave. So, that was kind of nice. But then I didn't really have the willpower to actually get up, so it was kind of for nothing. Because then I ended up just laying there and not even falling back asleep or anything. So, not really sure what good that was, because then, it ended up just being like the same time. Like I essentially hardly woke up early. But it was better, it was a better morning than some of these mornings for sure, cuz some of these have been, they've just been like way too rushed, way too last minute. At least this one was pretty nice. The problem is my wisdom teeth have really been acting up, so I've kind of had like a mild headache and teeth hurting, jaw pain like this entire time. Basically since around the remainder of yesterday, and still now it's still the case. So not fun at all. I don't know. I know I should probably get it taken care of, but just nervous about cost and stuff, and I'm just hoping it'll improve, but it is what it is. I just feel bad because I know not everybody. Yeah, I don't know. I really would rather not get them taken out. So. Anyways. Yeah, it's weird though. Like, I'm definitely in some kind of a depressive state. I mean, because you compare to how I was before. I mean, there was like, for a pretty long time, I want to say for like a few solid months, not only, well, I don't know about a few solid months, maybe for like, well, no, I mean, okay, waking up early for a few solid months, but I'm saying on top of waking up early, I was working like all those extra hours every single week for, I think, basically 2 months. And I really didn't hit any type of fatigue. And I was going to sleep and waking up, and it was, I just had this like drive, this energy. And I know it was captured on here. I know because I was talking, but I don't even know if the car rides with Schla even captures it to the fullest. Like, I don't, it was like crazy. I mean, for a while I didn't even need to get like enough sleep. I was just able to like muscle through because of joy. And so that's kind of something I've always noticed throughout my life, that when things are socially coherent in my life, when things are making sense, in my life, there's not really problems. Like, I feel like when I have lots of social outlet or things like that, things work out pretty well, and you know, I'm pretty like happy and I have a lot of energy. And then, but see, in this case that wasn't even the case. So see, that's what's weird, because I wasn't even talking to anybody at that time. So I guess it was mainly just the money. It was mainly the money. You know, the fact that I was like working the extra hours and finally making an amount of money that was, you know, like just a living wage. It wasn't like a lot. It was just, you know, how much I should make. And I don't know, I guess that may have been the motivation. And then I was doing car rides with Schla. It's kind of hard to remember because I kind of think some of the episodes back then were fairly miserable. So it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint that. Like, I don't know. Some of those episodes were like, I was pretty dreary. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if the mania really translated into this show. If anything, it could have been kind of draining me or something. I just don't know. I don't really know how to pinpoint it because it's difficult to remember exactly what was going on. And I don't know. I mean, back then we had such a smaller scope. I mean, now that we're doing walks with Schla, there's so much bigger of a scope to look through. Because, yeah, I mean, it really is an incomplete vision into things, seeing it that way. But yeah, I don't know. And I'm trying to think if I don't know. I don't know. Never mind. Yeah, I may actually be able to leave early today. Because I'm trying to do like math in my head and it's possible. We'll have to, yeah, I might be. I wasn't anticipating on it, but I might, because it depends on what I do next week. But if what I'm thinking is accurate, then I actually might be leaving early today after all. So that would be kind of a nice surprising treat. A nice surprising treat. Have to do some math, some hours math. But I could use that. I definitely need that. Because again, I'm not in a like I have to like I think my last mania was better. Like I think it was better. It was more stable and into this like I'm not functioning well, but I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like, I don't know. So it is something to like keep in mind. I don't know. Because a lot of times, I mean, if I had like I mean, there's some points where in a depressive. Well, first of all, I'm not even diagnosed as having anything, but I just think like living it's hard to deny that it's at least some kind of mild form of it. You know, like it's like I've never actually been to a professional, so I guess you can take it with a grain of salt, as if I would actually get diagnosed as having bipolar. But what I do know is definitely true is I do go through, you know, manic cycles. Like I don't know if it's enough to qualify as a disorder or not, because again, I'm not basing this off of like a professional's diagnosis, but I think it's pretty safe to say that I do go through those kind of like episodic mood swings. I do, and I think it's happened to me, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think like I know enough, and I've lived with myself enough to know that like I don't know the specifics, and I can't really comment on the severity or anything like that, but I've known myself long enough that I know there's something going on. Like it's impossible that there wouldn't be. Cuz again, like yourself. You've been around yourself for long enough, and you know. You know what I mean? Like what the deal is or whatever. Even if there's not, I mean, for certain things, and that's why I'm saying I'm not to get into specifics, because I don't know, maybe if somebody actually has like a more severe form of it, that's why it may be mild. Like, I don't know though, because in some ways, when I was a teenager, I think it was really affecting my life. And even now it is, but I just think now it's like I'm in a point where like I'm more stable, and things are not, they're just not as bad, I guess, like in terms of the symptoms or whatever. It's just not as bad. Like I'm pretty okay. Like there's definitely been points in my life where it's been a lot worse. I've been talking about this for a very long time. I guess I just felt like being descriptive and explaining it, because I know some people may think like, oh, well, does he have a diagnosis? No, like I don't. I don't actually have a diagnosis, but I just think certain things where it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's really difficult to say that like, I don't want to self-diagnose, but it's like at the same time, I mean, it's certain things are just kind of obvious. I just can't give like a specific diagnosis. Again, it could be like a mild form or something. It's hard to say. Probably something I should have gotten checked out, but I just don't like to need a therapist or be exhausting society's resources. Sort of like a self-sacrificial position. I guess I feel that another person needs it more, and I don't want to use up, probably shouldn't think like that maybe, but that's typically, I've always thought, because I just think about and I consider other people. Like, I don't know, but it's kind of a shame, because I always thought that therapy, I would have really gotten something out of it, or I would get something out of it, because of the way I talk. I have so much to say, I have so much to talk about, and so I would really get something out of it, especially too because I genuinely want to improve, which is different. There's a lot of people who go to therapy and it's basically just like a waste of time for them. I don't really know how much things improve, so I've really probably needed a therapist like this whole time, but it's just frustrating to me, because it's like with a lot of things, I notice that, and I don't know if this is an error in my perception or perspective, but it just genuinely seems like everything is all scrambled. Like, people who don't deserve stuff get stuff, and then people who do deserve it don't. Like, it's weird, and I feel like I notice that in everything. It's the same thing with college a lot of the times. I think that college can be unrewarding to some of the smarter people who should be there, and then vice versa. A lot of people who are there, it's like they're not really so great. So it's just a whole thing. Like, I don't know. And same with like therapy. It's like a lot of these people who have therapy, I mean, they're just not good people. Like, they don't deserve it. You know, there should probably be somebody else who needs it more, who would, actually benefit more from it, but then maybe they're in a poorer household, you know, so then they don't get the help that they deserve more. It's just something I've noticed, and I don't know if it's true, because it could just be that I'm seeing things through my own lens, and it's like a perceptive error, because in my life all these things have been the case, but maybe in reality it's not as bleak as it is, because I want to be aware of that too. I don't want to just act like, because I have known some people who really excel in college. They obviously are smart, but I think that they're smart and they also happen to have good parents, good upbringing, good environment, and it causes social coherency in addition to being smart. Because you can be smart but a weirdo, like, you can be smart and let that can like consume you and make you like just really out there, or you can have somebody who's able to like do really well in school and get ahead and all that. But yeah, I wonder why I have that perspective, or how much truth there is to that. The misallocation of things, how I just feel like, people who don't deserve things have them and stuff. It makes me, it's one of the reasons why I question the law of attraction, because I don't see, or maybe it validates it. I don't know, because I just don't see things making sense. Like, it's such a no-brainer that I should have been in college and I should have had a therapist and and then there's people who had those things who shouldn't. There's people who had those things that shouldn't, they didn't deserve them, but they get them. And then I don't, and then yeah, like I'm doing fine, but I could be doing better. And it's not only better for myself, it's better for society. And this is the problem that you get into when you have a system that's based on applications and being selected for an application. You're inherently going to have mistakes. And there's certain people that may be of a better potential for a certain thing that don't end up getting the job or getting the degree due to society's own negligence. And that's a huge problem. And it doesn't just hurt the individual, it hurts society at large when you have these errors. I think the frequency is higher now. I think more and more people are blindly or incorrectly selected for jobs and for these things. There's errors. There's people who are slipping through the cracks more than ever before. But I wonder how much is, maybe this is just something I experienced and the world isn't actually like that. It's kind of hard to say. It might be somewhere in the middle, but there's just so many people I wish I could really like educate, like I just need to like, because people focus too much on their opinions. People have their opinions about reality or advice or what you got to do to survive or all these things, and it's like, it's just these worthless opinions. It's not, there's no fruit. There's no fruit to that. Everybody just like, and it's hard because a lot of times people try, like nobody wants to be dumb, nobody's trying to be dumb, but just due to various biases and how they're told things and whatnot, you end up getting false perspectives on things. It's just how it works. And then how do you re-educate a person? But yeah, it's very messy the way things work. It's extremely messy. And I'm very like fatigued by it, and it's something that most people, they just don't keep track of, like that's why it's easy. People don't have these existential issues, or it's why they let them happen, because nobody's keeping anybody accountable. The feet aren't being held to the fire. You know what I mean? Like it's just they don't notice. People don't think of stuff. That's been like the common thing that I've noticed my whole life is I'll bring things up that people they just never thought of. And here I am thinking everybody's thought of it. Or that everybody's trying to, or like, and that's what I'm saying is, what is my reward for all this? Like it's crazy. Like I'm doing all this and I'm not even getting anything out of it. It's like very weird. Like not getting anything out of it. But I don't do it like, I'm not really doing anything based on, I guess there's a certain degree of autonomy to it, but I'm really the same as everyone else, where it's like, yeah, I know nobody's forcing me or anything like that to think about this stuff or put myself through this, but this is just, like, I don't know what else I would do at this point. I don't really know what else to, like, a lot of other things are boring, or of course I have my sillier moments, or moments when I think about fiction or fun, but that's just not, it's not very real, so it's harder to think about that for long. You eventually, you just don't, you can't do that anymore. Like, I don't know. It's, you just don't, it just doesn't add up. So, yeah, there is that. There's definitely There's definitely that to think about. So I don't know. I mean, and this is the thing I've been thinking about as to what we're really supposed to be doing as a, as a humanity right now. Like, what are we supposed to do? I don't know. It's very odd. But of course, like, again, and this is nothing anybody's thinking about. Like, a lot of people, and in my case, me, who would maybe think like me, they just would dedicate it all towards their career and their self, very selfish. And, then they have a lot of money, and then, they're fine as an individual, but what about everybody else? No, I guess people could say I'd have a larger impact, if I did that, because that's just the way of the way things are right now, but I don't know. I've never really been able to knack that. And I ultimately think it's probably better. Well, there's two arguments to that, even, because I was going to say it's probably better because I'm able to make do with less money better than most people. So it's better that I'm not hogging up like a more sought after, higher paying job. It's better. But then at the same time, it's, when you think about how I'd probably perform better, now you get into the complexity of it, because, yeah, what if I did better at the job, and then in that way that is like a greater contribution to society, and I'm not doing that, so I'm not living to the fullest that I should. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely two different ways of looking at things. But I wonder which one's more correct. I have a feeling that the one I'm in is more correct, because if it really wasn't, I'd assume I would be in the other reality, but I guess time will tell. I guess time will tell. I don't know. I'm actually surprised I really had much to talk about this episode, because I felt kind of fatigued today. Like, I wasn't really waking up thinking I was going to have all this to talk about. I kind of feel like there's, a thick blanket over me or something. And my brain, it's trying to pierce through it, but it can't quite get through it. So that's kind of what I feel like right now. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what to say, but I'm glad I had some content, you know? I wish I had a bit more of a break. That's all. Wish I had a little bit more of a break. Because I really have. It's been, you know, the longest time in my life without any kind of break. It's kind of, I mean, not only have I accomplished all the, you know, the recording stuff, which I've already said that's been, the past 5 months has been the most consistent thing I've been about in my, you know, hobby or whatever, but my job is the most consistent thing I've shown up for even before that. Like it's like, you know, that's been even longer. That's been much longer than 5 months. And I guess for a period of time school was something that I had, but school you get like so many days off. Like you get a lot of days off and breaks with school. And also school you get out so early. Like I would be getting out and still have like hours left in the day, whereas, you know, here this is just more time. It's way more time. So it's kind of crazy to think that I've really pulled through up until this point, and I think it's really reasonable that I would be having some fatigue about it just because of the logistics of that. I mean, I really usually had time, you know, to process or just in general. Like I would have so much time to do that stuff. I wouldn't be like this is just, you know, and it'll get a little bit better eventually, but I really don't want to use my paid time off hours. You know what I mean? Like I just don't want to do that. That's like the whole, you know, I could take off, I guess, but you don't really get that much paid time off, and I don't want to just like blow it. I really want to save it. So I guess in a year or two, you know, I'll probably start to be able to take life easier and stuff because I'll have at least that. But, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's weird, you know, it's just weird. Like, I'm just in a tough crunch, and it's definitely another year of this before, like, I think a year from now, I'll feel better. But see, even as I say that, I get kind of worried about that because it's like, what is all this going to do to me? Just like being in this working cycle, what's it going to do to me? You know? I feel like the recording it helps because it's giving me some kind of outlet. I mean, it's really only by miracle that I thought to do this idea, and it's ended up working out so well. It's really by miracle alone. Because if I didn't have this, I don't know what I'd have right now, you know? So, just a weird situation that we're in. Very odd situation. Oh, great. The light. Oh, great. Wow, that really. Wow, this light was really silly. Hmm. Interesting. Anyways. Wow, well, we would have actually made pretty good time, but the light luck is low today. So that's, well, actually, yeah, that's okay. It changed. So, yeah, I think we'll actually make it earlier than we have in a while. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, I just think my brain, it's fatigued. It's fatigued from a lot of things, really. Because, yeah, it's so, like, I've never even been really had to commit to anything for this long. Like, this job has been the first thing in my life I haven't just, like, quit, because school is just so different. School is so different. Like, so many things are just done for you, and like half of it is having fun or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like work at all. I mean, you're not getting paid, which kind of, I guess that helps, because when you're working and you're getting paid, you're able to you're able to spend a little bit on goodies, but not everybody can even do that. So it's like fortunate I even have a little bit to spend, a little bit to eke over. But yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe we'll just make my normal time. I'm not really sure now. Depends on if we get in fast enough here. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should be good. We should be good. Well, we made it. That's nice. That's very nice. Yeah, that's the earliest I've gotten here in a while. I don't think. Yeah, I think it's been a while since I've gotten here this early. It's interesting. Sorry for my sluggishness, but I'm very fatigued. That's why I might make that decision too. I may make that decision to leave early today, but it's gonna be a last minute thing. I have to see how it goes. See what I think is best. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. Tough to make the judgment call. Oh my gosh, I just you probably heard that. I unzippered my bag and then I realized I didn't even get anything out of it that I needed to, and I just unzippered everything and then zippered everything back up again. Alright, it's been Schla, but now it's time to buy Schla. So, see you, Schla.